Now, for more on this, I'm joined now by Winnie, Director of Global Business Development and the Eurasian Business Coalition's China Program. Welcome to the show, Ralph.
Thank you very much. 新年快乐，恭喜发财.
Well, as we know, it's been the 3-year anniversary of the Shanghai Free Trade Zone. How successful would you say it's been?
Well, I think there's been a lot of criticism because given the slow progress of capital reform. I think it was very good that they've set up the free trade zones to give companies an opportunity to invest in China. But there have been a lot of concerns now about the free flow of capital. Certainly a lot of companies have issues with the national security review and their inability, certainly for foreign law firms, accounting, audit firms, telecommunications and financial services companies, really to have the access to the market and the free flow of capital that they would have normally expected. Given this national security review, which many companies are saying is overly broad and very vague.
Now, despite that, though, we have actually seen that official data shows 90,000 businesses were set up across China's 4 current FTZs in 2015. Do you think we can expect that same momentum?
I think we can. And the great thing is that if you set up a local company in the Shanghai Foreign Trade Zone, you're able to borrow money offshore. And I think that that's one of the top strengths and priorities of the free trade zones, allowing people to be able to borrow that money offshore. So I think that's a very good thing.
And speaking of some of those benefits, what would you say are really the key economic benefits of having the Shanghai Free Trade Zone?
Well, it's a gateway to showing that China is the leader in creating this Silk Road initiative, this One Belt, One Road initiative that the Chinese are taking the lead in to link Europe and Asia. And it gives opportunities for foreign companies to come in and to mentor and develop the next generation of entrepreneurs, working with young Chinese entrepreneurs and creating a very successful partnership, both on the personal and the professional side.
Now, China actually piloted a number of practices, including the so-called negative list approach for foreign investment. And that is a list of certain sectors that are off limits while opening up others. How is that encouraging investment?
Well, the problem is the national security review. Getting the companies in is very good, getting the sectors in, but the companies want more. And the idea is once you bring them in to the foreign trade zone, there are going to be opportunities for them to engage and do business.
And you say that they're looking for more. What is it that they're looking for?
They want a free flow of capital. They want the ability to be able to trade and engage in investment. They don't want this quota on the ability of the yuan to be able to float, to have that convertibility. So it's really the free flow of capital. And they don't necessarily want the central bank to sort of control and keep a lid. I understand the central government's perspective. I mean, you have to make sure that there's a controlled, ordered kind of system, even in the financial markets, because you don't want an unregulated system where the financial markets could fall apart, which we had in Europe and almost happened in the United States in 2008 before the big bailout came through. And so China watches what's happened in the West, and they say, we don't want to make the same mistake. And they say to investors, look, we understand what you're saying, we recognize it's important, but we're deeply concerned about what an unregulated market could mean.
And with that being said, we know that they're adding 7 more trial free trade zones. How do you think this is going to factor into the big picture, especially when it comes to the One Belt, One Road initiative?
Well, many of them are in the inland areas, and several of those are minority-dominated provinces. And if you can improve the quality of life for the minority people in China, it's always a very good thing. I started in China working in Guangxi, which is a minority-dominated province. And to see the growth and the development and the improvement in the quality of life by direct foreign investment that came in is key. And setting up these foreign trade zones in these inland areas is key to improving the quality of life for people so they don't have to leave and go into the major cities and create a mini industrial revolution. So I certainly think that's key, is to create jobs and economic opportunities for people in those provinces, and at the same time show the world that China is the leader in setting up the One Belt, One Road initiative.
So say you're a business and you're interested in doing business in these free trade zones. Just quickly, if you had to give one major selling point, what would that be?
I would say the ability to engage and mentor young Chinese entrepreneurs to learn and grow with them in developing your product and being a force for positive change in promoting the U.S.-China relations or European-China relations. Because that is what is going to improve relations, I think, between China and the U.S. and China and Europe, which sometimes is, dicey depending on the different issues. But the way you promote positive relations is through trade and economic development and creating those partnerships on a personal and a professional level.
Indeed. Unfortunately, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you so much for joining us. Ralph Winnie, Director of Global Business Development and the Eurasian Business Coalition's China Program.
Thank you for having me.